Digimon Con is this Saturday, February 26th, and it looks like we're gonna get a ton of huge Digimon announcements. So today I'm gonna sit down with Corey from TheDigiKnow and we're gonna talk a little bit about our hopes and potentially dreams for Digimon Con. What is up everybody, welcome back to another video, and yes, Digimon Con is coming very soon. If you haven't already, please do follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/Karn_EX, or check my Discord in the description down below. In the Discord there is an event tab which will tell you when my Digimon Con stream is starting. I'm going to be starting about 15 minutes early, and me, Corey, and Base Digimon are all going to hop into a call, talk about our thoughts and feelings, and then I'm going to do my full reaction to Digimon Con. It's going to be incredible. But before then, me and Corey did want to talk about our thoughts, so you can check that out right now. We're together. This is the boxing match that we talked on Twitter.
Oh yeah, the beef, the tea.
Yeah, we're having big beef right now.
I smell like beef.
This big YouTube debate me bro moment.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be a weird question. Are you okay with people knowing you're Canadian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure like how undoxed you wanted to be. So I feel like I don't see you talk about the card game super much.
Yeah, I have a deep, dark confession, which is that just not much of a TCG person in general. It's nothing against the Digimon TCG. I played Yu-Gi-Oh in childhood, and I messed around with like the Pokemon trading card game and stuff like that, and then I just fell off hard from any TCGs.
I can see what I mean. Like I've gone the other way, where I was super into like Legend of the Five Rings, a little bit into Magic as a teenager. I collected Pokemon. I still don't know the rules to the Pokemon TCG. It just one of those things that I tried a billion times and it never happened. But yeah, came to Digimon, was like super into it, played it on Tabletop Simulator before it was even like officially out in English, like with the fan translated cards and stuff. And then somewhere like towards the end of last year, I was just like, man, I don't want to play this anymore. The cards are pretty as fuck, but I just don't. There's just too much going on now. There's like too many erratas and
yeah, the best part for sure for me looking in from the outside is just the art. And I know you just put out that video where it was saying like these are the coolest references in the TCG. Like that stuff rules. That stuff I'm really into. I think something that would possibly work for me for getting into the TCG, and maybe this is something they can announce at Digimon Con, maybe they don't, is just I think Yu-Gi-Oh has that very popular app, like to play the card game, through the app, and obviously there was the PS1 Digimon trading card game. I think that is like can be a very important way to have people break through into TCGs.
Yeah.
That might do it for me if I had an opportunity to explore the rules and explore the game without the initial investment of buying a bunch of starter packs and boosters and stuff like that. That would excite me at Digimon Con.
I think it's something. So Bandai have made a like online lobby for the card game, but I don't think it's to that level, and it's strictly for like tournament situations. Like Master Duel is huge right now. Like Yu-Gi-Oh just dropped that like a month ago or whatever, and that's doing absolute gangbusters, and is exactly like it's similar to MTG Arena, which Magic did and stuff. It I think is like, especially in like maybe we're coming to the end of COVID restrictions and stuff now, especially like in the UK or whatever. So like yes, technically live play is probably going to get more time, but like also probably people are still pretty scared about getting COVID, so they're not going to want to rush out to go and play with plastic cardboard or whatever. So I feel like especially gamifying that, but then we know how long Bandai Namco takes to make video games. So.
Sure. Right.
Oh, actually, this is something that obviously I'm not involved in because I can't draw for shit, but the Digimon illustration competition, the winners are being revealed at Digimon Con, and that is people from the fan community in Japan and the US, and maybe one other territory, got to design card art, and if they get picked, their art goes on the card. Anniversary and high quality toys. So obviously we just had the super complete selection animation D-Arc get announced, and man, Bandai takes so long.
Yeah.
It's going out in September.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like the thing that's so interesting for me is that I really like the game component of those old Digimon toys. They're not intense RPGs, but I always like them. But on the other hand, nowadays, if I was buying one used or secondhand, I'm not buying it to replay the game. I'm buying it because I want a cool thing on my shelf.
Right.
And these new, like the premium Bandai stuff right now is so good for that. Like I need to get my hands on one of those, the D-Arcs. And if they came out and said, we're also doing the Season 4 Digivice, or like more stuff with the D3s, like, yeah, I'm excited to see what they have for premium Bandai.
Yeah. And in general, I mean, it's interesting because we're entering into Frontier's 20th anniversary in April. And obviously Frontier's like not hugely loved by a lot of people and is kind of underrepresented in general. But I feel like for 20th anniversaries, they always do a little bit more than they do for like Savers' 15th anniversary got next to nothing. I'm like, I don't think we're going to get like Frontier Season 2. There's your clickbait. Do we think Frontier Season 2 will happen? I have like a feeling we're probably going to get some kind of, if not complete selection animation, maybe like version 20th detector or something. Maybe they'll bring back the barcode scanning.
Yeah, I think Frontier is kind of the last of the like original run. I know Savers was couple years after. I feel like in terms of is there a chance of Frontier getting some love for the 20th anniversary, I'd say yes, just because it's the last of the, I guess the original run, I would call it, of back-to-back-to-back Digimon. After that is when they seem to forget about what came after, like you said, with the 15th anniversary of Savers not really having any fanfare. So maybe we get something from Frontier.
I don't know if they do a complete selection animation so quickly back-to-back with Tamers, so like I say, I think it'd be more likely to be probably Premium Bandai, but not that range. Like I say, like more similar to the Digivice 2020 that had like big light and sound, but is still like a black and white screen or whatever.
Alternatively, it could just be something that doesn't leave Japan, where it's like when they'll do like a Tamer's pop-up shop, and it's like the characters that you like wearing cute suits and dresses, and you can go get a keychain at like a store in Shibuya, but that's kind of all. Like that might be all we get from Frontier.
I think pop-ups feel very likely, but it's one of those where when you think Digimon's going to zig, they're going to zag. So I think if you expect a lot from Frontier's anniversary or nothing, we're probably going to be somewhere in the middle of like some stuff going on, but who knows? But maybe we're wrong. Maybe Frontier Season 2 confirmed.
There it is.
And speaking of Season 2 confirmed, Digimon Adventure 02 movie news. I would love to have anything more to talk about this movie than key art and a description.
Right. The big question for me is just like, where does this take place? Like, is it in the 1999 canon or the new adventure canon? And I don't know what I'd prefer. I'd like where we left that universe. I'd be okay if that was done with. And I kind of do want to see more of like the 2020 adventure world, but I don't know what that looks like. Like the little teaser we have for that Adventure 02 movie is so vague and strange, and it doesn't seem to fit in the 1999 canon.
So the thing I've been thinking is the Kizuna, like the directors and a couple of the producers, I believe. So I think it's most likely in the adventure canon. Kizuna tried to, but Kizuna was kind of almost like the first foray before 2020 started doing it, of like callbacks to stuff, homaging moments, but doing them differently. And like Eosmon is very much like the first Eosmon encounter is super reminiscent of the Keramon and Diaboromon encounter.
Yeah, all three of the big fights in that movie are like basically references to the first three Digimon movies.
So my theory is that they're doing the same thing with the new 02 movie, and it's going to reference the de-aging in Hurricane Touchdown.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that we're going back to young Davis, but Davis is going to get turned young by something, or maybe there'll be a nowhere space where he can go and communicate with this first Digidestined or first chosen child, or whatever.
Does it is it just me? It reminds me of I don't know if this is a cardinal sin to talk about Pokemon, but it reminds me of like the Pokemon X and Y plot with that old dude who met like the first Pokemon and was like 2,000 years old. Yeah, whenever I hear that, when I rewatch the teaser trailer and Davis is talking about I met the first person to ever come in contact with Digimon, just in my head I picture like that dude with the beanie and the long hair.
I'm also wondering if there's a few unresolved plot points. Well, there's a lot of unresolved plot points from Tri, but one of them is like who Dark Jedi is. And also, not to bring up Pokemon, but I think it'd be really funny if the first Digidestined is like a Samuel Oak situation from Pokemon Forever, and like that's Dark Jedi, and it's like, oh, you mind out how you go, you could go down the dark path or whatever. But maybe I've been watching too many Kingdom Hearts explainer videos, because in my head this is like a whole Lushu situation.
Oh,
right?
God, yeah.
There's gonna be like 9 different people who are all the same original chosen child.
You play as Sora or one of his clones, the Sordas. Are they Sora, sorta.
Yeah, part of me so for this new movie, for the Adventure Zero 2 movie, whatever it is, I would be okay with it being Last Evolution Kizuna related and that timeline. I almost enjoy, just for the pure chaos of it, the way that Tri is so unresolved, like with the Dark Jedi jumping into that portal and being like, maybe I'll bring back, who does he say he wants to bring back again? He teases an old villain. Maybe it is, I think it's even just Diaboromon or something. He's like, maybe Diaboromon? Question mark? And then falls into a pit, never to be seen again. I kind of like that just because it's so like...
I don't think... I think people are always very keen for resolution. I don't think everything needs to be resolved. Sometimes things
me too.
can be suspenseful or just deliberately... Like things that... So there's some things that people consider cliffhangers or like unresolved plots aren't really that. It's more things were happening and like it was more about the weight of that or whatever. But I mean, I still like to know what... I still like to know what Jedi is. We still technically don't know what Jedi is.
Yeah.
Like, we've got some good ideas, but nothing perfect.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
I'm also interested in what that Digimon in the first key art we got is, or if it is a Digimon, because it reminds me of like the Digignomes from Tamers quite heavily. So I wonder if that's more of a proto-Digimon.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I like what you're saying about the first Digidestin, or the first person to come in contact with Digimon being like the Genai or Genai. I don't know what the correct pronunciation is anymore. But that would be a cool way to close the loop on like this extremely important character that has kind of forever not had an explanation.
Right.
So
maybe if that's what it is, and we called it, I don't know, subscribe. I don't know.
Right.
In regards to Digimon Con, I would expect not a lot here. When Kizuna got announced, I think we got one piece of key art, and then it was around this time later that they gave the 2 pictures of Tai and Matt as like older, and I think maybe like a snippet of audio. Same for Tri as well. We had like an initial very low-key trailer for Tri, and then we got that little conversation between Agumon and Tai. I don't think this thing's going to be like mad into production. Like it's going to be into production, but the animation is going to be sketches at this point. So I think...
Not a full 3-minute...
Yeah, I think maybe expect to see like a 22-year-old Davis, maybe if it is young Davis, see young Davis, and maybe that new kid, if they are designed, maybe see those, I would say. So next up is Digimon VB and Digivice V news and updates. We know this is happening. They've confirmed that there will be a segment for this at Digimon Con. You got the Digivice V?
Yes, sir.
Are you still using it?
No, I bought the Agumon and the Gabumon. So first of all, I'm not going to be doing like the full collection thing with the DIM cards just because of the import fees, and it's just a little bit tricky to have a full collection. But I completed like my Gamamon card. I really loved the month that I spent with it, and I don't know. It's just you kind of got over it. But I really like the tech. My big question is, for you, I am wondering if the VB announcement that they have for Digimon Con is just surprise more DIM cards, or is it surprise, new bracelet, like new V2 model?
So I think there's a chance we'll see maybe Frontier, like a Gunimon or something like that, and Lobomon. As far as dim cards go, I think maybe 2 or 3 announcements. There's some stuff that I'm being intimated but have not been told by a couple of people, and I have to be really dancy around this because I don't know if it's true. Obviously, it's basically source dude, trust me, and also if I can't name and shame people as kind of proof of that, but there is a chance, I think, we will see some kind of revision to the Digivice V or the base VB, but I don't think it's going to be like VB 2.0. I think if you consider like the Digivice V 1.2 now rather than 1.5, I think what we might see is a 1.5. It'd be crazy if we see a 2.0, but I think like as far as like screen quality, like the general setup of the thing, 2 Digimon, nothing too crazy. There's also a chance they'll do some app update stuff. But I think there is a chance we will see some like how the sleep function like fundamentally changed with the V. I think something will fundamentally change with the next revision.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
And my biggest wish for the actual device, I'm pretty content with the app product offering. It's not the ultimate Digimon experience or anything like that, but the big thing for me is just, and you've covered it in your videos, I covered it in my review, I think, is that I really wish that the offerings on the bracelet were a lot stronger in terms of like the adventure mode and stuff like that, and just the idea, it was probably my biggest issue, just in terms of deflating the immersion when I'm on my walks with Gamamon, and then it's like, challenger approaching, it's another Gamamon.
That is something that I am almost like entirely certain was cut for like space issues or whatever, because that initial trailer for the VB shows Agumon versus Betamon, and we've not even had a Betamon dim. So like I'm like nearly confident there was some plan to have like at least one enemy on each dim, and I guess
you had an idea about that, like a rival for each Digimon, because I don't need hundreds and hundreds of Digimon like being randomly generated each time I get in an encounter, but maybe even just in the way that the Adventure 2020 Digivice kind of follows the arc of the show, like it would have been cool to encounter, not that this has to be a Ghost Game product specifically, it can be more universal than that, but it would be cool if you're playing the Gamamon dim and then you encounter Clockmon and then Mummymon and then Dracomon, like as opposed to just Gamamon, then Battle Gamamon.
King of Icemon and you run away.
So that's if I had anything I wanted to see changed or upgraded in like a potential VB 1.5 or 1.3, it would be that. Like just expand on what's offered.
I think it would also add an incentive to maybe get different models. I mean, obviously it's too late in the day now, but it would have been cool if rather than it being dim card dependent, there is just a set of enemies on like the black VB, the white VB, the Digivice V having more like Ghost Game centric enemies. And did you have the D3 toy back in the day?
Like the original? Yeah,
so like, you know how like the map system, and then you'd like encounter whatever it may be, Vegemon or whatever, that could just be stock, and then you can have your different Digimon go at it. I think that would be a good solution for that.
Yeah, I would just like to see the adventure mode expanded in such a way that I could keep playing after finishing the 12.
I think that's why the app does, I think, have importance to me, because obviously you got the raids and stuff, and so that's a motivator, but it would be nice if there was more sort of, and again, this is a lofty ambition for Digimon, but that almost Pokemon Home-esque ecosystem, not necessarily with a charge, but if we treat the VB as the Pokemon Go equivalent and the VB Lab app as the Pokemon Home equivalent, then Digimon Survive, the next Digimon story game, being a place you could transfer raised VB Digimon into would be probably not Survive, but maybe the next story game.
That would be pretty cool.
But again, probably lofty goals. But that actually transitions us perfectly into the next thing, and that is if there is not a Digimon Survive release date at Digimon Con, I'm making Pokemon videos.
I don't believe you. Yeah, the Survive thing is so weird where like the game looked cool. I don't even want to say looks cool anymore because we haven't seen it in 2 years?
Yeah,
like
that was the last
trailer.
update, yeah.
I'm wondering if there was like a drastic overhaul of what this game is because it's just been so dark for 2 years. So it looked cool. Hope it still is cool, but it almost just has like meme status now within the community. Like I don't know how many people are actually interested in the sort of strategy game, survival, visual novel thing. I'm really, the moment they showed it, I was really stoked, but I don't want this game to be like destined to fail because it's so niche, but...
Right. So Digimon Survive was never supposed to be the big title that it's become. It was the in-between title before the next story game.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean with the meme thing. So then it's like, when it arrives, my fear is that some people who were stoked for the next Digimon game are going to be like, what the hell is this?
What the hell are you?
Who wanted the next big
I am
JRPG.
curious how many people are, like you say, are more aware of it in the meme setting than like what it actually is. And I still think it has a semi-decent chance. It definitely will have a good chance among Digimon fans because there are Digimon fans that are fans of Digimon Racing and that game sucks. So like it's all up from here. But there is this kind of lean, I think, in the games industry towards tactical RPGs and this kind of like visual novel thing. Like we've got Triangle Strategy coming out at some point.
Sure, the Advance Wars remakes and stuff
Advance Wars remake. Like obviously Three Houses did really well. Now they're doing the Muso game with Three Hopes, which are kind of keeping that story heavy anime-ish focus with that. Something else got announced that was strategy. Front Mission is getting a bunch of like remakes or whatever, remasters.
Yeah, it's a great point. So it could be a thing where like the tactical strategy people say, holy shit, there's a new tactical strategy game and it's this thing I remember from 20 years ago. It's Digimon. That's so cool.
It might ultimately catch that same zeitgeist that Cyber Sleuth did, where like people were desperate for a JRPG, and a lot of the people that love Cyber Sleuth don't give a fuck about Digimon. It's just they really enjoy JRPGs. I just like the game to come out so that we can then enjoy it first of all and then stop talking about it, I guess, a little bit, and maybe start looking forward to the next thing, which is do I want to say certain? No, I don't. I'm like 70% confident we're going to get like the name and possibly key art of the next Digimon story game at Digimon Con. I think because we know it exists. Like they've said it's
Do we
being
know it
made.
exists?
Yeah, so they like Habu said like we are making Survive in the interim of the story game. We have already begun work on pre-production on the next story game. So like it exists. Whether it exists as like anything in an engine, probably not. Maybe, but I'm assuming someone has written like Digimon story future generation or whatever, and hopefully, again, that might be a 4 to 6 year development timeline, but I think it's likely that's something that they would show. The only thing that makes me think they might not is that Nintendo mentality that they might try to adopt of like, don't do a direct until the big game comes out. Don't do an direct until Legends Arceus has come out. Once Kirby's come out, you can put the next direct out. Once Zelda's out, you can put the next direct out. Don't start hyping up your next thing before like the thing you're trying to sell is out, possibly. But it's Digimon, who knows?
Yeah, I think that the story RPG is like so vital to the multimedia offerings of Digimon. Like, just to be honest, I haven't really hit it on my channel or anything like that, but I wasn't very into Digimon from 2005 to 2015. And the Try stuff really got me back, although they're not the best films or the best season, wherever you want to refer to it as. But the combination of Try being a thing, plus I played the Cyber Sleuth game at that time, and I thought it was like fantastic. That is what brought me back in. So right now we have good Digimon anime. And we're just lacking a game. I mean, there's like the mobile games that are there, but the 3 pillars would be like wicked mobile game, wicked anime, and then a wicked sort of console experience or PC experience, just a larger title.
Definitely. The fact that they are making a whole convention for it and not just like a DigiNavi or whatever, I think indicates that maybe we are about to see the like next phase of Digimon. Hopefully that, because there's this ongoing thing. Someone did a Twitter thread about it that was super informative about Digimon's intentional Digimon Reboot project.
Yeah.
And that was super fascinating. It was great. I'll link it in the description. And I think this might be like phase 2 of that. Like we might be entering into, the Avengers Age of Ultron. Not a great comparison. The Captain America Civil War of Digimon, like we're getting...
Yeah, I know what you mean. They were saying in that thread something to briefly summarize about how like Digimon Adventure 2020, that anime reboot, was not the be all and end all of the Digimon Reboot project.
Exactly.
Like it's a multimedia endeavor. And to make your Marvel comparison, like probably with a multi-year, honestly, like a decade-long strategy to get Digimon to this place they want it to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think part of that would include the story series, just any kind of meaty, larger scale game title. So
definitely. Oh hey, while Static was editing this, Digimon tweeted about Digimon Con in the literal middle of the night for me. I was in bed. Thank you so much, Digimon. You were so kind to us European time zones with a bunch of information and a timetable. It is a long ass convention at 6 hours. Oh my god. But thankfully the game information section is right at the top. And this promotional trailer all but confirmed Digimon Survive information will be there. Probably the release date, definitely more information on Survive is going to be there, I'd say. Plus possibly more. Anyway, back to Pascal and Corey. I'm going back to bed. And you could also supplement that with the next thing we're going to talk about, which I think we'll go through a little bit more quickly, and that is just like lofty ambitions, things that we don't really have any basis for, just stuff that's like, this would be cool, would like to see it. And I don't know why I started out as this is the first thing that came to my mind, but I've put down Digimon Ghost Game tie-in video game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, made me think about the Switch in general, like the Nintendo Switch, because I was thinking, what was it? There was an Appmon 3DS game.
Yes.
And I was thinking just in the era of the Switch, like you don't really get, I mean, you still do get small games, they've moved to mobile, but it's like, there used to be a Wii U game and a 3DS game, or a Wii game and a DS game.
Right.
So like I could picture in a world where we weren't with the Switch that a Ghost game would be like the Nintendo handheld game.
Yes.
Just this cute, they have there's a Ghost game for 3DS. That's awesome. But I don't see like a Ghost game title coming to Nintendo Switch because they would want to go larger and do the cyber
I think
Cyber
it's
thing.
just even on release time scale, I don't see there being a place for a Digimon Ghost Game tie-in. I think the only way it's likely to happen is Eirias banners first and foremost, and then like maybe Gamamon is like DLC for Survive or something, which could
like a
thematically tie in.
bonus.
Yeah, pre-order at 7-Eleven and get the Gamamon Keyblade. And I guess that ties in actually to the next thing, which is I think everyone wants to see older Digimon games put onto Switch or modern consoles or PC or whatever, and I feel like 1 to 3 are probably the most likely contenders for that.
If you want to go and get these games physically and own a copy, it's so hard to do that now. I worked in a retro video game store like 5 years ago, and the Digimon World games on PS1 were $100 to $200 5 years ago. So I don't even want to know what they are now. It could only have gone up. It's one of those things where you have to remember that even when you buy that game for $150 at a used game store, like Bandai Namco's not getting any money from that.
Yeah.
So it is in some ways money just sitting there. If they wanted to put it on Switch, then that's an easy way to...
Yeah, it's not like... I don't think they'd even necessarily have to do a remaster, just whatever, either have an in-house emulator or whatever it may be, slap some banners on the... if it's like Square Enix, don't even bother putting banners on the side. Just leave it black. Fuck it, who cares?
I don't think anyone even really needs... it would be cool, but I don't think anyone's even asking for like a Final Fantasy VII remake style version of the Digimon World games. They just want to play them in their original form.
I think the conversation from there is probably less likely. People are talking about like Digimon World 4, Digimon World Data Squad. I feel like those games are just lost to time, probably, unfortunately. In the mobile department, there's Digimon New Century, which is the Chinese exclusive game that's getting a lot of buzz. How do we think that's ever going to leave China?
I'm not counting on it. There's a lot of... I feel like this happens all the time where you'll see something on YouTube that looks like the coolest game you desperately want to play, and it just never releases in your territory. So would it be cool? Yes. Am I counting on it? No. I put a couple things at the bottom of this document, and for things that I would like to see that I don't think are necessarily going to happen, although the latter one might actually happen now. But I put that I want to have a way to officially read in English some of the Digimon manga, like Digimon Dreamers, I guess is the new one that's out now.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's V-Jump only, which is cool. I've bought a V-Jump once or twice, but when they first announced Digimon Dreamers, I thought for a second it might show up in like the Viz Shonen Jump app, and I scanned the app and no dice, no such thing. But if you would let me buy like the Volume 1, Volume 2, just paperback versions of the Digimon manga that already exist, I would love that.
Yeah, so it's a weird part of the franchise. My suspicion is, based on comments and things that I've kind of seen floating around, I think the perception of a lot of Digimon fans, maybe more casual ones, is like, oh, I'll care about V-Tamer if it ever gets turned into an anime. So maybe Bandai just doesn't think there's like a value proposition there to have gone through the effort of translating, but it's not going to cost you a lot. But it seems so, it's been so long. And we've never, 1997 V-Tamer started. We've never had a version outside of, well, we've never had an English version, certainly, outside of fan translations. But I mean, it's all fan translated. Like, I know it's not the done thing. It's becoming more done in different industries to just say, hey, you've done great fan work. We'll pay you. Let's print it or whatever. So it's already technically there for them. Again, Bandai is so hard to predict. I feel like it's unlikely they'd start printing Digimon Dreamers before V-Tamer, but I think the ideal situation is V-Tamer and Digimon Dreamers. But I think Digimon Dreamers is more of like sort of Charlie Brown. It's quite comedic and kind of silly and more for like funny books kind of thing. So I don't know whether they think like that would be worth a physical print. But there's really no reason not to pay someone for half a day. Actually, they're like 6 pages, I think, right? So it's like, if that. Yeah. So just pay someone once a month to translate and put it on, like you say, the Viz app or whatever. Wouldn't hurt for Digimon Dreamers. V-Tamer's a little bit more. There's a lot of chapters to that. Yeah,
it would just be cool to have the ability to own like a physical paperback copy of one of the V-Tamer books or something like that. But just a wishful thinking kind of pie in the sky wish. I don't think it will necessarily be something they announce.
It would be something I'd love though. V-Tamer translated physical manga is like one of my white whales of Digimon collecting.
Yeah.
It'd be so good. So that's everything that we are pretty sure about or are massively hopeful will show up at Digimon Con. We are going to be doing a kind of inverse to this of what we're hoping for the future of Digimon over on Corey's channel, which is the TheDigiKnow, which you should know by now. But yeah, thanks for talking to me about Digimon Con. Also, as I said in the intro, I'm going to be reacting to Digimon Con live, and for a little bit, Corey and Base Digimon are going to be with me talking more about what we think's going to happen. So come in, watch that, twitch.tv/Karn EX, and go follow Corey on all the socials that are in front of him right now, probably. I don't know.
Whoa! Look at all these socials.
It's gonna be like google.com.
There's way too many socials. There's like just pouring down.
like the messages in Bell around Beast or whatever.
Yeah.
Alright, that was so great. It was so much fun talking to Corey about what was coming up there, our thoughts, our feelings, bouncing some ideas back. And like I say, please do check out Corey's channel right now, because we also shot a video talking about what we think is the future for Digimon, what we think is coming, not just for Digimon Con, but throughout 2022, 2023 and beyond, and kind of our hopes and predictions for that. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you over on my Twitch on February 26th for our full reaction to Digimon Con. Thank you to ZDK14, my wonderful sovereign, and everyone else who supports this channel with their hard-earned money. I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.